Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is so exciting for me because I have been waiting for this palette for so long, and I'm sure you guys have been too. And I am so excited to be making this video with the amazing Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe. I was so excited when this finally released, and me and my best friend were staying up together so we could get one each because shipping to Australia is so expensive that we had to split the shipping cost so it wouldn't be that much. So we were both like trying to get on the Morphe website, trying to get this eyeshadow palette, and oh my god, you guys have no idea how excited we were when we finally got it. This palette is so beautiful. So I'll just show you guys the box first. This is just the box that the palette comes in. That's the front, just says the Jaclyn Hill palette, and then it's got the Morphe logo down there. And then on the back has her little photos on there, and then it's just got some writing there, and it says JH2 there. That's just like the code of the palette. And if you want to see like more in depth of all the packaging and everything, all swatches and stuff like that, you can check out Jaclyn's video. But I'm not going to be doing swatches of all shades. And then this here is the palette, and it's just got the same design on the front of the palette as the box does. And then on the back it's just got Morphe X Jaclyn Hill, and it's got little JH like logos all over it, which is really cute. And I love the whole aesthetic of this palette, like the white and the silver. I think it's so pretty and so classy. The only downside is though that this gets dirty so easily. Like I've already got like a mark there on the back, and from like touching the eyeshadows with your fingers, you kind of smudge the eyeshadows on the front as well. So it gets a little bit dirty, but it is super pretty, and it's so much better than the normal Morphe black plastic palettes. Like I don't really like these palettes because I find them quite hard to open sometimes, and this one is much more appealing. I love the cardboard. It's just so much easier to open like that. You guys would have already seen this palette all over Instagram and YouTube and like pretty much everywhere, but ta-da! That is the palette on the inside. It looks so pretty. It's like so aesthetically pleasing to me because it's got all the warm toned browns in there. It's got a couple of pops of colors in the corner as well, and I also feel like the layout of these eyeshadows has been done really well because I like the way they've just been placed in the palette, if that makes sense. And like up here you've got some like pink shimmers, you've got the, as I said, the pops of colors down here, you've got the matte warm tone shadows all throughout the middle, and you've got like the darker shades down here. And you guys, this palette is so amazing on the eyes. I use this shade Hunt, and I've been trying to find a shade like this in like so many palettes, and this one finally, like, it's made the perfect shade. It's like a burnt red shade, but it's so beautiful. It's so pigmented, it blended out so well, and the shimmer shade I used on my lids worked so amazing. Usually with other eyeshadow palettes, if I try and do it like a half cut crease, especially with Anastasia shadows, I find, even though I love her shadows, I find that they transfer into my crease very easily. And this one only did it the tiniest bit on this side. This side hasn't even transferred a smidge bit, and I'm so impressed. I love how these shadows blended out and worked together. I feel like you can create a lot of different eyeshadow looks using this palette because there's such a mixture between shimmers and mattes. And you've got some really nice transition shades up there, some nice crease shades here, and then you can deepen up any eye look using these shadows down here as well. And also it has 35 eyeshadows inside. It retails for $38 US, which is more than Morphe's usual palettes. You can use Jaclyn Hill's discount code JACATTACK to get 10% off it, but they created different packaging for this one, and the shadows have been formulated differently and pressed differently into the pan. So that sort of takes up a bit more time to make, which is why I guess they made the price a bit higher than their other palettes. But I mean, to me it's honestly worth it. Like, it's still such a steal for the palette. You're getting such great product, such a variety of shades as well. And I feel like if I could take one palette with me to travel with, it would definitely hands down be this one, just because you can create like everyday kind of looks with it. You can create like more darker smoky, like if you wanted to create a black smoky eye with this palette, you can do that. If you wanted to just create an everyday simple eye, you can do it. If you wanted to create like a colorful eye look, you can do it. Like, it's just a really beautiful and versatile palette, and Jaclyn Hill is one of my favorite YouTubers. But even if I didn't like this palette, I would obviously tell you guys. I always give you guys my honest opinion on all the products that I try and use on my channel. And as you guys know, Morphe is also one of my favorite brands. I love their eyeshadows, and I was so excited to see that they collaborated with Jaclyn Hill because I know she's a perfectionist and she always tries so hard to make her products amazing for us. I'll just say a couple of things that I don't like about this palette. Firstly, I did mention earlier that it can get very dirty. Honestly, I wouldn't have really minded if it was a more of a glossy finish because it would be easier to clean. Like the Kylie Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes, they're like a glossy white finish, but this is like more of a matte, like paper finish, so it won't be as easy to clean. So yeah, it can get very dirty. The second thing about this palette that's a bit more of a downfall for me is that there is no like matte bone shade to set your concealer or eyeshadow primer when priming your eyes. Like if they had something like these two shades in a matte version, just so you can set your eyeshadow primer, that would have been like the most perfect thing in the world for this palette, because then I wouldn't need to use like any other product when using my eyes. I would just be using this palette and that's it. Where like today when I set my concealer for my eyeshadow primer, I had to use my Mercier translucent setting powder just to set the concealer. I know it's not the biggest like deal in the world because you can just literally use your translucent setting powder, but that's just kind of something I look for in an eyeshadow palette. And the other thing is that I know a lot of people have had the same issue, is that a lot of the palettes have not been coming with that card that says all the shade names on it. Like for example, I didn't receive this card and I was low-key kind of upset because, for example, when doing my tutorials, I always tell you guys what shades I'm using on my eyes, and when I don't have that card, I don't really know what the shades are. I feel like it would have been so good if they just had the names stamped on the palette inside, but I mean, that I guess that's just another cost that they would have had to add or something, I don't know. But I mean, having a separate card was a good idea, but not everyone got it and I didn't get it either, which was kind of annoying. So I had to print out the photos so I could look at this when filming this tutorial. But I mean, with the eyeshadow palette itself and the formula, it's worked amazing for my eyes. It blended so well, the shadows were so pigmented. I of course didn't use every single shade in the palette, so I can't speak on every single shade, but the shades that I used, they worked really well. You'll see them in this video, and I do want to film more videos using this palette. And also, sorry, during this video I didn't even realize until I finished filming that the brightness of my ring light wasn't turned up, so it was on the lowest setting. I still had my softboxes on and stuff, so sorry about that. But if you guys did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe down below so you won't miss out on any more of my videos, and also press the little bell button so you can get notified for whenever I upload so you won't miss a new video. And yeah, thank you guys so much, and let's just get started with the video. Okay, so to prime my eyes, I'll be going in with my usual Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Very Fair, and I'm just going to be applying this all over my lids and then setting it with my Mercier translucent setting powder. Now we'll be moving on to the star of the show. I'm so excited to use this, you guys. I've been waiting for this palette for so long and I'm so excited to finally be able to use it. And this is just what the palette looks like, just to show you guys. And then that's the back, it just says Morphe by or X Jaclyn Hill. And then the front just says the Jaclyn Hill palette with the Morphe logo. Can we take a moment to appreciate this shade range? Like look at how beautiful they are. Like you can create so many different looks with this palette. I was so confused with what I wanted to do with this eye look because there's so many options you have in this palette. But I think I've decided, because I'm obsessed with these warm transition crease shades here, I really want to do like a warm smoky eye, and I think I might do like a half cut crease. I did want to do something with the colors in this corner, but I feel like a lot of people have been doing tutorials with the colors and I haven't really seen any using any of the neutral shades, so I'm like, I'll just stick to the neutrals then and I'll do a neutral eye look for you guys. But I do want to do a colourful look using this palette as well, so let me know in the comments down below what kind of colourful look you would want me to do using this palette. I haven't even swatched these shades. Apparently they're really pigmented and I cannot wait to dip into this palette because I'm so excited for this. The only thing so far that I don't like about this palette is that there's no like bone matte shade to use to set your eyelids with your primer, so that's why I used my Mercier translucent setting powder. But I mean, you've got pretty much anything else you need in this palette, so, and you would have already seen like my mini review of this palette at the start of the video. So with my Morphe E23 brush, I always use this brush for my transition shade. I'm going to be going into this fourth shade here, which is called MFEO, and I'm just going to be applying that into my crease and blending it upwards towards my brow bone so it can act as my all over transition shade. There is a little bit of kickback in the palette when I pick up the shadow. There's not a whole lot, but it's to be expected with a really pigmented eyeshadow anyway, so hopefully the shadow is really pigmented. I've heard great things about this palette, so I'm so excited to finally use it. So let's go ahead with this shadow. Okay, this shade is so pretty for the transition shade. So pretty. Okay, so the next shade I'll be using is, as soon as I saw Jaclyn's swatch video of the palette, I was like, I need to use this. Like, this shade looks so beautiful, and I'll just be going in with this third last shade here on the second row, and it's called Hunt. It's like this like orange red shade, and it looks so beautiful. And with that, I'm just going to be using my Morphe M441 fluffy crease brush. And before I apply, I just really want to swatch it, so I'm just going to quickly swatch it with my clean finger. You can see there's nothing on there. I'm just going to go one swipe. Okay, that is such a good swatch. And you just saw me just do one light swatch. Okay, so now I'm just going to apply that shade directly into the crease and on the outer corners of my eyes. Okay, this shadow has a bit more kickback in the palette. It actually has quite a bit of kickback. So if that's something that bothers you, just putting that out there. Basically, if you don't know what kickback is, it just means like a lot of fallout in the eyeshadow pan. And just so you know, before I apply these shadows, I always tap off the excess because I don't want to go in with too much product, and just so I don't get too much like pigment in like one spot on my eye. Okay, and for some reason I always get this like little patch here where my eyelid just like doesn't pick up as much pigment as the rest of my eyelid space does. So I'm just going to go back into that spot and add some more. I love this shadow. And also to mention, this shadow has blended out super easy. Now I'm going back in with the MFEO and my transition shade brush that I used earlier. And I'm just going to blend in MFEO with Hunts, just so there's a more seamless blend. Okay, so now just to deepen up the crease, I'll be using my Morphe M433 brush. This brush is just a little bit more pointed, and you can get a more precise application with this brush than the one I just used earlier for my crease. And I'm just going to be picking up this shade right underneath Hunt, and it's called Jax, and it's like a more deeper maroon sort of shade. And I'm just going to be applying this shadow into my crease. And I'm also just going to slightly pack it on to the outer corners of my eyes. Now I'm just going to go back in with my crease brush and the shade Hunts and just blend all the shadows together. And it will also bring back a bit of that red shade. So far with the shadows, I haven't gotten any fallout, so that's a plus as well. There's only just a little bit of a kickback in the palette itself. This is so what I'm talking about. Just look at how blown out and red and fiery that is. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut half my crease, and for that I'm just going to be going in with my Morphe R42 brush and my Too Faced Born This Way Naturally Radiant Concealer, and then I'll just set it with my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder so it doesn't crease when I apply the shimmering shade on top. Okay, so I'm just quickly changing the concealer. I'm going to be going in with my Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer in the shade L1 Neutral to cut my crease because this is more white than my Too Faced one, and the eyeshadow that I've got on my eyes is really pigmented, so I really want to cover that up so I have a bit more of like a harsh cut crease. Then when I get to the end, I'm just going to dab it. So for the lid that I just cut out, I'm just going to be spraying my Zoeva 238 brush with a bit of my MAC Fix Plus. And then the shade I'll be applying is just this one here called Obsessed. And it looks like a really pretty like silver champagne sort of colour. That is such a pretty shade, you guys. Oh my god, it's so pretty. So now just to further blend in the shimmer shade with the matte shades in like the middle of my lids, I'm going back in with my crease brush and I'm just going to tap on the part where they meet. So because I just want to add the tiniest bit of more darkness to the outer corners of my eyes and to the outer corners only, I'm just going to be going in with my Zoeva pencil brush, and I'll just be picking up this shade here called Chip and applying the tiniest bit to the outer V of my eyes. That is so pigmented because I'm barely even tapping it on my eyes and it's dropping off so much product and colour. And I'm just going to go back in with the tiniest bit of Jax with my Morphe M433 brush just to blend out that chip shade. Now going in with the first brush and the first shade I used, MFEO, I'm just going to apply that to my transition shade area again just to help blend everything. Okay, so now I'm just going to spray my face with my MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus spray. And not only will this prep my face for my face makeup, but it's also going to help set my eyes. Okay, now I'm just going to clean up a little bit on the edges of my eyes. And also just an update on the fallout of the eyeshadow. I didn't really get any fallout. The only time I got fallout was a tiny bit with the shimmery shade. Otherwise, I didn't get any fallout with any of the other shades. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly speed through my face because I want this video to be mainly focusing on the eyes, but I still wanted to show you guys what products I was using on my face. But I will be going in with my Becca Backlight Priming Filter to prime my face. For my foundation, I'll be going in with my Luminous Silk Foundation by Giorgio Armani in the shade 3.75 and just applying it all over my face with my black damp beauty blender. So now I'm going to be going in with my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Fair and just applying it underneath my eyes, on the bridge of my nose, above my lips and on my chin as well. And then I'll be blending it out with my black damp beauty blender. And then I'm going to be going in with my RCMA No Colour Powder and just baking underneath my eyes and on the bridge of my nose as well. So I'm just going to set the rest of my face with my Mercier Translucent Setting Powder, and I'll be using my Morphe E41 brush. And now just with my Morphe M438 brush, I'm just going to wipe away the bake. Okay, so now with my Morphe R5 brush and my Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit, I'm just going to pick up the middle contour shade and just chisel out my cheekbones and apply it around my forehead and underneath my jawline as well. And then with a smaller brush, I'll contour my nose with the same shade. And now with my Kylie Cosmetics Koko Collection Face Palette, I'll just be picking up the bronzer here called Rodeo Drive, and I'll just be bronzing up my face. And I'm just going to blend out that bronzer with the powder brush I used earlier. So now it's time for highlights. So I'll be going in with my Anastasia A23 brush and again spraying it with my MAC Fix Plus, as you guys know I always do. And I'll just be going in with my sleek Solstice palette and be mixing these two bottom shades together. Now for blush, I'll be going in with the Morphe 9N palette, and I'll just be picking up this shade here on the side, and I'll be using my Morphe M530 brush. Okay, now I'm going back into the eyes to finish them off. So I'm just going to be picking up my Zoeva smudger brush and picking up the shade Hunts again, and I'm just going to be smudging that along my lower lash lines. And now going in with the shade Jax, I'm just going to apply that to my outer lower lash lines. And now just with this Kylie brush that comes from the Royal Peach palette, I'll be picking up the shade MFEO that I used for my transition shade in the beginning, and I'm just going to smoke out my lower lash line. Now because some of the shimmery shadow on here transferred into my crease, I'm just going to pick up my Morphe M506 brush and pick up the tiniest bit of Hunts, and I'm just going to go over that. Now going back in with my 238 Zoeva brush, picking up a tiny bit of Obsessed and just applying it at the top of my lid again, just to help sharpen the line. Now I literally just watched the tiniest bit of this first shade here called In Light, and look at how pigmented it is. It's so pretty. So I'm going to be going in with that shade In Light, and I'm going to be applying it in the inner corners of my eyes and on my brow bones. And I'll be using my 238 brush by Zoeva sprayed with my MAC Fix Plus. Oh, look at that brow bone highlight, you guys. So I'm just going in with my Zoeva 224 brush and picking up the tiniest bit of MFEO, and I'm just going to blend out that harsh line from the brow bone highlight. Okay, so now quickly, just before moving on to lashes, I'm going to spray my entire face with my MAC Fix Plus. And as for lashes, I'm just going to quickly apply them off camera, and I'll be back to finish off the look with the lips. I'm just going to go in with my Flutter Lashes by MakeupShayla in the style iSlay. And I like these because they get thicker towards the outer corners, and because my eyeshadow look is like a half cut crease and it gets deeper towards the outer corners, I feel like these lashes would coordinate really nicely with the eye look. So yeah, I'll be right back once I've applied those. Okay, so I've applied my lashes, and I forgot to mention, before I applied my lashes, I curled them and I applied the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes mascara, and then at the end I just applied the mascara to my bottom lashes as well. So now lastly for the lips, I'll be going in with my Kylie Cosmetics lip liner in the shade Dolce K, and I'll just be lining my lips. Then I'm just going to fill in my lips with the Dose of Colours liquid lipstick in the shade Sand. So that is it for this video. I really hope you guys like this makeup look I created, and I hope you guys liked the video as well. If you did like it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also if you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe down below so you won't miss out on any more of my videos. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!